everything website, all on the DVD. So when you're growing all that food, you know how to can it, store it, preserve it, etc. with all these documents. So thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I hope that you will pick up this package and start learning to be free. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps and freedom is one seed that needs to be planted.
What we do in life, it goes in eternity.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
So, hi, welcome back. It's Christine Joanna Hart, and I have an Albus oil stick stuffed up my nose because sadly I've got the Australian flu, even though I'm in the UK at the moment, and things are pretty bad flu-wise here. We've probably all had it sprayed over us. The stronger ones are surviving, and I'm surviving. I contracted it from my son, who's still sick, and I have it too now. It's great fun. We have a guest, Brian Harvey, from E17, and he has been sharing with us tonight. So back with Brian. Brian, you still with us? Hello, Brian?
Yeah, you know? That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, still with you. Yeah, sorry about that. That was... I was having an angry moment there, and then this ding, 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 the music started creeping in the background, and it felt really weird.
Knocked you out of it.
Yeah. So
no, it must be hard.
I'm sorry for just sorry, Chris, to the listeners that are out there that because this goes out in America, and I know that probably all of you are not going to know who I am or the people that I'm talking about. But this, although you don't know me, you don't know the band, you don't know any of the previous, I am actually the one with all of the evidence. And we never really broke America. So all of those in America, I understand how this is coming across, and it's I know it's a little bit angry, and you may think, I'm not sure about this bloke, but everything I'm telling you is genuine. And I know I'm just throwing myself out there, talking on radio to people that probably don't care and don't know who I am anyway. But this is a real serious situation, and I have been targeted. And to some extent, the UK government are involved, and I just happen to be the only pop star that's ever been mentioned in Parliament. Even that in itself is strange, over a drug set up in 1997, which kind of all works hand in hand with everything else from that point, where I was set up by the ex-manager to do an interview talking about my experience with the drug ecstasy, in which another band member, Tony Mortimer, gave an interview to The Guardian on the very same thing 2 weeks prior. And there was a big dispute in the band. The management contract was going to end. The band was kind of on its finishing days, and the manager wanted to sign us again. I didn't want to sign. I found out something else about the manager as well, and he knew I was definitely not going to sign with him. So they had to destroy me and make me look like I'm someone that's destroyed my own career and destroyed myself, and only show you, only show you the bad bits of anything I've ever done. Basically, I don't think there's ever been one good story ever written. If there's not one that I can remember anyway. So that's my story. And I was in a band called East 17, and we had a lot of top 20 records. We was fortunate enough to have a number one record called Stay Another Day, and that was 1994 Christmas number one. That record is quite famous in the UK and across Europe and Far East Asia. The only place really that is probably not famous is all over America. So, but that's a little bit on my history, who I am. We went on to sell 22 million records in total, and I was the lead singer from that group, and I'm over here now, years later on benefits, 21 years later on benefits, after selling 22 million records. So, you know, it's not a hard one to work out. And the reason that I'm in this position is because I've got a big mouth, and I speak as I find, because life's very short. And if you don't say what you mean, you're wasting your own time, really. And so I'm saying exactly what I mean, but I'm also aware that it may come across like, you know, who is this bloke? Who is he? But I can assure you everything I'm saying is genuine, and I'm in a real fight here against some powerful people, although I just look at them as like they're just another body on the toilet having a shit in the morning. You know, all of this, whatever, sirs and knighthoods and names, these have all come from people who think they're above us, that have given other people titles so they can have a nice time in life, while all the rest of us suffer. And that's the most obvious thing that sticks in my mind now, is that we don't live very long. And why do people have to suffer all the time? And it's taken my own suffering to bring me down to that level, to make me realise, bloody hell, you know, like, if they can do this to me, and I've sold 22 million records, I've actually done something. I've actually paid a lot of tax and put into this country. And if they can treat me like this, then people with no voice, who are having their, you know, have got mental difficulties, you know, depression, anxiety, whatever, they're crippling illnesses, and they stop you in your tracks. And people with these illnesses, there's no care for these people. I know, because they haven't cared for me. If anything, I'm still registered sick, and they're still trying to ruin me. So I know that no one else has got even a tenth of a chance that I've got, and I've got no chance. So, you know, life's too short. I don't just want to leave behind a bad record. Let's expose these people, right? Let's get everything out in the open. Let's have some transparency. Right? For once in our lives, let's have some transparency and change this country. We don't need nonces running the country. I don't want people in other countries thinking that I'm okay with alleged nonces running this country. I'm not okay with that. I don't want people looking at us like that's what we bow down to.
Like we're Belgium.
What's that?
I said like we're Belgium. Remember that joke in that film in Bruges? And Colin Farrell says to that Belgium girl, what's Belgium known for? Chocolate and molesting children. And the only reason they got good at the chocolate was to get to the kids.
Oh, mate, that's terrible.
I know it's terrible. I think we're known as paedophile capital, aren't we, England? It's so depressing.
And it's not our fault.
Well, not you and I, no, but obviously someone.
You know, and then we've got people like, you know, the bloke that's had me arrested for an alleged malicious communication. This is such an absolute joke. This is another dig at me to frustrate the life out of me. Don't forget, this man that said that I've called him a name is the one that actually funded me the piece of equipment to go and film this Operation Fernbridge Witness. And this Fernbridge Witness has named royalty, bankers, he's named everyone, this geezer. And his computers haven't been taken, and neither of my accusers' computers have been taken either. And that's because you're very high up, man, within MI6 and all that old Bill world. And you know it.
What was that?
And so was Bill Maloney, the fake child abuse activist. Where's he gone now? Where you gone, Bill? Where's Chris Fay?
Hello? Stop. What was that stuff you told me about the red rooms? Remember we were going to talk about it this week because we talked about it last week off air. Can you refresh my memory and just start from the beginning on that little story?
Okay. Well, the reason that the story came up was because a friend of mine is now dead, and another friend, and his name is John Harris, and he was the guy that was out there doing all the free man on the land talks, yeah, and talking about the difference between lawful and legal, and he gave quite a lot of talks. He was a very interesting, clued up, clever man. And he became a good friend of mine. So that's how I got into like learning about all the free man on the land stuff. And this guy later on, just before he died, said to me, he goes, "You've seen something, mate, and that's what the problem is." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "I don't know where you was, but you was in a nightclub somewhere." And he said, "You've seen some kind of secret door open, or I don't know. You've seen inside somewhere, and you've seen something you shouldn't have done. And when you saw it, you said something and brought it up to whoever, I don't know, but you questioned it." And I'm saying to John, "But where was I, John? What nightclub?" And I'm thinking, was it Stringfellas? Because we had a little time when we would go down there for a little, because we could take the piss. We could go in there in tracksuits, you know what I mean? Me and my mates, of course we was going to go in, sit on Peter's table, get drunk, have a laugh and go home. So I'm thinking maybe it was Stringfellas. We was going down there every week for a little while. And he goes, "I don't know. All I know is you was in a club and you've seen some door open somewhere. And inside that door, you've seen something that you shouldn't have done. And they've clocked you and you've clocked them. And this is what your real problem is, mate." And he said, but I said, "I don't remember, John. I don't remember seeing a secret door or nothing like that. I can't remember nothing. Let me think. And I'm really, really trying to think. And I'm trying to picture all sorts of scenarios. Maybe I saw something I didn't realise. And he's dead now. Apparently committed suicide. And he was found with according to his missus, he was found with a bag on his chest. And according to someone that alleges to be his daughter, a Chelsea Joe Harris, she's put out something on Facebook and said he hung himself. And just before all of this happened, he came round here after I'd come back from Parliament again, right? And he was already outside and he was acting strange. He was saying things like, "No one's going to see me for a long time, mate." And I'm like, what do you mean? What's going on? And he was trying to say things to me like, he's fallen in love with some younger bird. And I'm like, "What are you talking about, John?" You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking, hang on, what are you trying to do here? Discredit yourself in front of me so I don't act on any of your information again. That's how I saw it, because I thought he's a clever man. He had a video out called "It's an Illusion," and this is all an illusion that's happening to me right now. He then went on to tell me that he was from another planet. And I thought, no, you haven't just said that to me. You haven't just said that to me. Okay, all right then. And he finished it off with, "And one day maybe I'll be able to go home." And
which planet?
And I don't know. I don't know. I doubt we can even get off this planet, is the actual truth of it. So I don't know. But I believe it was all an act, because it all coincides with Bill Maloney telling me my life was in danger, which is to frighten me.
And is Bill Maloney dead?
Bill Maloney's not dead. No, he's hiding in some caravan somewhere, according to Tom Carhill and a couple of other people.
Now, he's a journalist.
Who is?
Bill Maloney, yeah?
No, well, he was supposed to be an anti-child abuse activist, but
I've heard his name before.
Yeah, well, Ian Puddick funds him. And
right.
if you doubt that, I've posted up a video on my YouTube where they're talking about the Hampstead cover-up, and you'll hear Bill Maloney in his own voice saying, "I've been working with Ian Puddick," and there was no need to drop that in the conversation because he doesn't go on to any other point. Just says very intelligent man, and I've been working with Ian Puddick. And I just thought, what's that doing in there? But I'll have that. Thank you very much, because this is the geezer that's saying that I've called him a name. This is a bloke that's bought me a piece of equipment to film a Fernbridge witness, who's going to accuse everyone under the sun. And Bill Maloney, the geezer that you're funding, is telling me my life's in danger, which is why I go to Downing Street and tell them my life's in danger, which is why I know I reported Ian Puddick first. So it's ridiculous. But
anyway, back to
what was your the red rooms, right?
Yes.
It was important that you had the backstory on John Harris there, right? Because this is why it's so weird. Okay. I couldn't remember this thing, whatever it was, but John was sure, and I'm thinking, how does he know anyway? Right. So anyway, a little while after that, Daniela pops up on the scene, didn't she? Right. Ain't seen her for years. Comes round here. Right. Starts getting on this child abuse thing and that. Oh, I know loads. And she claims she was abused as a child. And we're talking about all sorts of stuff. We're talking about the ex-manager Tom Watkins, because she was friends with a girl called Danny Bear, and Danny Bear was in a group called Faith Open Charity, who Tom Watkins used to manage. So I was hearing all sorts of stories. But anyway, I said to Daniela,
hang on, what
John
sort
Harris
of stories?
Hang on, let me get to this first. John Harris has said to me, Dan, that apparently in some nightclub somewhere, I've seen some secret door open or something. Right. And she went, oh, yeah, you know where that was? That was when we was in Brown's, and we went up and we was in the geezer's office. Do you remember? And then he hit a button and the wall moved and we went upstairs again. And I went, oh, yeah. Now, the reason I couldn't remember that, I would never have remembered that, but it was the secret door. I remember being bewildered with this. Oh, mate, that's brilliant. I've always liked a fireplace that turned round. You know, yeah. Stairs lift up and you got a secret room. Do you know what I mean? Like a little, like a panic room, or put a studio in there or something.
So what was it again? It was in Brown's, and where is Brown's?
That was up. Where is that? It's up London, like up. I can't remember exactly, man. I'm terrible with them roads and all that up there. Brown's nightclub. If you Google Brian Harvey, Daniela Westbrook, go to images, and the first one that comes up on the top left, you'll see us standing outside the front door on that very night. I've got like a brown V-neck woolly jumper on with my cap backwards, and you'll see the Browns logo of the door, the nightclub behind us. So it'll all be there. But that was the night, right? That was the night. And so it's funny that there's a picture there, because I'm trying to have it help me remember where I was at then, and I can't remember back that far. I can't. Right, but
she said, sorry, what year was that then?
That's got to be 1993 or 1994.
No, quite early on.
It was quite
sorry, when you went to the office, what part opened the wall?
I remember the desk was sort of, you could walk round the back of the desk, so your back would be to the back of the wall and the desk was in front, and it was behind the desk to the right, I think. And that moved, and we went up some stairs. Right. And at the top of the stairs, there was a curtain over the door. And the guys sort of opened the door for us, pulled the curtain back, and Danny's walked through with me holding her hand. And it's like we've had to walk sort of 3 or 4 meters to go through this room, which goes out into a corridor with more rooms off of it, right? And it was all red. The floor was red. The walls were red. The lighting was red, closed red lighting, like them little IKEA red lamps. It was red. And we've had to cut through this room to get to the red corridor. And as we've cut through this room, I've sort of turned holding Danny's hand and got my head down like, sorry, you know what I mean? One of them. And I've looked to the left and I've clocked this knee, which I thought was this woman's knee. And I saw this knee and I thought, something don't look right there. That knee looks really skinny, man. I thought, ain't filling out the suspender properly. And as I looked round and I looked up, I thought, she was done up like a woman, but it was a girl. She was I don't know, 13 or something. I don't know. You know, and I remember it was the knee that done me. I thought that knee don't look right. I had to take a double look. I thought this woman looks a bit weird. And I looked back, I thought, no, she's young. And I looked next to her, and it was a boy in a suit. And then there was like 4 adults around them. And I don't know who them people are.
And how old was the boy?
He looked younger than the girl.
Like 10?
11, 12 could have been. just guessing, you know what I mean? But then I did, back then, no one had heard of paedophiles. No one had heard of this. I've just got into the industry. So I'm not taking notice. Nowadays, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that ain't right straight away. Do you know what I mean? But even then it was in me. But it wasn't because the thing that done it was not, oh, this is blatant. Look, there's kids in here and adults. I mean, number one, it was through an office and through a private, a wall that moved and a secret door that you ain't supposed to notice there. Then you go upstairs, right? And there's 4 adults around these people. There's like one of them seats that goes around the edge like you'd have in a club where a few people can sit on it. And the 2 kids were sitting on there. The girl was on the left, the boy was on the right. There was an adult to the boy's right. There was 2 adults to the girl's left. And there was one with their back to me sitting at the little round table. And there was drinks on the table, dimly lit. There weren't no sex going on or nothing like that. But it was the knee. And I thought, the knee don't look right. And when I took a second glance, she was young, probably about 13. And the boy, probably about 11, 12, something like that. I can sort of see his face in my head now. When I picture
Would Danielle know more about it, or
she'll I don't know, she may know more about it, because the only reason I ended up in that club is because she dragged me around now. And then when you look at the story that was in the paper about the Red Rooms, it says that the place got raided and there was a geezer upstairs selling drugs from a toilet. Well, once we got into that corridor and gone through that room, I remember her going behind another wall and saying to me, stay there, I'm going to go to the toilet, because if that wall closes, I can't get out. And I thought, oh, all right. But I'm not thinking anything of it. I remember my mindset at that time. Oh, all right. So I'm standing there waiting for 2 minutes and she comes back out. Must have bought drugs in there, because that's what come out in the story. Red Room, fucking drug dealer in there or whatever. Yeah, but what I saw going through getting to that bit. And I remember that now. It was only because she reminded me, so she knows. The thing is, I think the people, whoever they are, I think they think he knows who we are. You would have known who I was at the time, but I wouldn't have known who you was. But it's someone.
What celebrities went there at the time? Can you remember any?
Everyone. Ronnie Wood. I remember seeing him in there one night.
Can you remember any that used the rooms, the secret rooms?
Oh, no. From what I could see, it was empty, them rooms, but there was beds, rooms left, right, off this corridor. And I've not seen any sex or anything like that going on, but it was the knee that done me. And what John Harris is talking about, he's gone and you questioned it. And when I think back, I've gone to the geezer once we've come through the room and we've got into the corridor, and obviously he's in front because he's taking lead, so we're following him. And I've gone, wait, mate, that's not right, is it? Something because I was just trying to get onto mate, the knee. Do you see that knee? That knee didn't look right. So that's how naive I am. Right, it's that knee, and I remember going, oh, no, you're right, and we were still walking, so it was like the option wasn't there. But the fact that I'd even said that, how did John Harris know about it, and why is he dead now? Yeah, and people don't think my life's in danger. But listen, I'll tell you now straight, whoever these people were, whoever it is that I've seen when I've gone through that room, I don't know who you are. I never saw you. I just remember seeing that knee and then looking up and going, oh, she's not old. Hang on, that's weird, isn't it? And then the boy.
Do you think that what you've seen was some kind of satanic coven or human traffickers dungeon?
Well, there's got to be something. There's got to be something, because for John Harris, it's one of these things I would never have known. But John said it to me. And now he's dead, so clearly it was of significance. But if they're worried, he knows who we are, and I don't know who you are.
Well, who owned the club back then?
I don't know. Daniela took me. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know anyone in any of these clubs, right? And I got introduced to Peter Stringfellow one day, and that was T Green, who was our ex-backing vocalist, took us in there one night, and I thought, oh bloody hell, what? I can come in here whenever I want. So I started going down there with my friends every night, taking a piss. In tracksuits and caps.
Oh, you got in for free?
Yeah. So you would go down there, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Free
drink. Do you think it all leads back to those red rooms?
I don't know. I think it's got more to do with this Watkins thing. It's more to do with... Was
Watkins linked to that at all?
Well, I've not seen it, I've not seen it. He's linked to everyone apparently.
Where did you meet Daniela? Did he set that up?
Well, he could have done, because she rung my mobile one day. I never gave her the number, and she rung my mobile. I was in the bath, and I just got one of them brick Motorola phones, and it hadn't been on very long. And I get this call one day. Hello, who's that? It's Danny. Who's Danny? Daniela. Sam of EastEnders. And I was like, oh, hello, you all right? I remember you. And it started like that. That's how it started.
And then what did she say?
What do you mean? What, when we first started talking?
No, yeah. What did she say after that? Oh, I fancy you, or what?
No, because I was seeing a girl at that time called Melissa Bell. She was Lucy from Neighbours. When they had a second Lucy come on there, she was quite a nice looking girl, and I met her on a TV that we was doing, where we was all on the train, and on the way back and that I started talking to her, and we ended up going out a couple of times. And Daniela was Melissa's friend. And when Daniela rung me, it must have been from Melissa's phone. And things with Melissa, I mean, it didn't really last. You know what I mean? It wasn't something like we was together proper. It was, I don't know, it was one of your first experiences with someone who's famous. You know what I mean? It's weird, isn't it?
Yes.
It's weird anyway.
So it went on. What did she say? Go back to what she said.
No, she talking really sort of. She couldn't really flirt too much, you know what I mean? Because obviously I was seeing Melissa, but she had me number stored. Don't worry about that.
So and then you sort of started going out.
Yeah, I started seeing her, and that she was doing theatre at the time, and she drove all the way down and that to come back to Walthamstow, and then go, and to come down it was like 4 hours and drive all the way back up there. It was like that then, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know she's done a lot of that stuff about? She did that therapy program about how she was plied with cocaine at clubs and how.
Yeah, I've read it. I've actually screenshotted the article. She's saying, and the reason I've done that because I've already had all this. When we split up, I got told, yeah, I got her on it. I was like, what? You are having a laugh, aren't you? With that one, you are having a laugh. So obviously, I'd done a bit of screenshotting a few years ago, and I was like, oh, here we go. Taking gear at 14 in nightclubs. Well, I didn't know you at 14, so clearly it ain't me.
Yeah.
You know, you have to do this sometimes just to because everyone's got an opinion and they think they know, and they know nothing.
Mm.
They don't know.
So
I tried to get her off it. They don't know about all that. They get the lie that, oh, he's got her on it. I bet it was him. No. I don't do gear. Never liked it. Don't like it. Did it with her. It was very hard not to when you was going out with her. All the clubs you're getting dragged round and out. I didn't know none of these people. I was like a novice, just following her about, going to this club, we're going there, we're going there. All I kept saying, everyone's got bloody gear on them and that. You know what I mean? I didn't like gear. I smoked weed.
Well, she might have been sent in your direction. You know, she's told about,
Possibly.
Being used and passed around and, given coke when she was really, really young. And
I'll tell you what she does know about. She knows all about Tom Watkins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she knows. She actually probably knows more than I do.
Why is that?
Because she's known him for longer. I came in, listen, by the time I was in the industry, people like Daniela and them, look, they were well established. I was sitting down as a little boy watching her on EastEnders, having me Sunday dinner with me nan and granddad. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Not even a twinkle in my eye of even being famous at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So,
but I thought that Tom Watkins was music rather than acting.
Yeah, well, he used to manage a girl group called Faith, Hope and Charity, and that was Danny Bear and two others. I have got a screenshot of it, and Tom managed them. And Daniela will tell you a story of how she got sent up the sweet shop with Danny Bear to buy Tom Watkins some Tampax for his arsehole.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because obviously as it pounded.
We mustn't on the radio. We mustn't on the radio.
Sorry, America, but like this has gone way past politically correct. You know, I'm
Well,
sorry.
we must be careful. I'm just bringing up a picture of Danny Bear.
The group
I didn't really recognise her actually.
Faith, Hope, and Charity.
No.
Yeah, so like amongst them lot, I know that they'll have their own stories, but they, you know what I mean, they probably won't speak out because, you know, Watkins is like he's still someone in this industry. I mean, God knows why, but he's someone. So he must be a very high up music mason, which is what Andrew Ash, the alleged Operation Fernbridge witness, you know, David from Panorama, that's what he told me.
David from Panorama?
Yeah. Well, it's Nick, isn't it? Xaro Nick, David from Panorama. It's all Andrew Ash, whose full name's Andrew Ashworth. Yeah.
Sorry, you just lost me for a minute. Where did that come? Sorry, who's this new character?
Andrew Ash. How did we get onto that? What did you say before that?
I didn't say anything. You were talking away. And then out that came, and I'm just
No, because it was relevance. This is what I'm saying. You got to catch me on it, Christine, because you know I've got so much information in my head. I really need to do a documentary and put it down. It's going to be about 6 hours long.
No, I know my brain is slow because I'm flued up. See.
No, hang on. I'll tell you how we got to it. We was talking about Tom Watkins. We was talking about Faith, Hope, and Charity. And Danny Bear and Daniela Westbrook getting sent up the shop to buy Tom Watkins Tampax for his ass.
Yes, and then
that's where he was. And then
Andrew Ash.
And then that's right. And then I said Andrew Ash apparently knows Tom Watkins as well, because I'm saying Tom Watkins is a high up music mason, and one of the people to tell me that was Andrew Ash, who is also AKA Nick from Xaro, right, and David from Panorama. It's all the same bloke. Andrew Ash, the Operation Fernbridge witness that.
Oh, I see. Now, David so he's been on an episode of Panorama as some kind of person telling all.
Yeah. No. He told all on the interview that I filmed of him for the Express, which was Bill Maloney and Chris Fay. Yeah, do you remember?
Yes.
Right. That's where he tells all. And then
Panorama.
And then 2 years later, in 2016, he ends up on Panorama being shot from behind so you can't see his face, with his voice dubbed with someone that sounds just like him, saying what they want him to be saying. And I know that to be true because I've got a recording I could play you with Andrew now saying I didn't want to do Panorama, it was Chris Fair. He says didn't want to do it. And he said it was all Chris Fay done an interview. I didn't want to talk to him, but they had footage. And I said, yeah, well, that's the footage that I've filmed that they're showing you. And he's going, your name never came up. And I've said, well, I'll bet my name did come up because you just said that they had footage. That's the footage that I put up of you talking to the Express, James Fielding. And Robert Kellaway was working there at exactly the same time. So is that a coincidence? No. It's another setup. So I could go out there thinking I'm helping, name names that Andrew's telling me. I only need one of them to be wrong, and then he's discredited, and my credibility's gone. And then who's going to listen to my real phone tapping evidence? No one. That was their plan, and they've been caught. Unlucky. Try again. Something better, a bit cleverer. Except they're not that clever. All they can do is go and pull a dark, nasty move and kill you, or, you know what I mean? So I got a bulletproof vest here, Christine. I got it yesterday.
Oh, cool.
No, it don't work very
well. Do you think that... well
shot in the head?
Yeah. Do you think that Tom was maybe abused when he was a child?
Tom, what, the manager? I've got no idea.
To make him so, I mean, like needing a Tampax, was that because he had like a few guys at one time? Because
he's a dirty, manipulative bastard who likes to control everyone. I mean, he wouldn't sign us as a manager, unless you first sign to his sub-publishing company. So that means if you turn out to be a great writer, he's got 20% of you. And that's nothing to do with him, your publishing. He's meant to be your manager, getting you the best deals, not nicking 20% of your writing if you turn out to be a great writer, which is why he pushed Tony so hard and got him that #1 that I sung. But I'm on benefits and they've all got millions. How is that right? But they can keep their money. I want their money. They're welcome to it because they cannot enjoy it fully because they've all got a conscience hanging over them going, you can't enjoy this money. You got millions, but you can't feel right about it. Good luck.
So back to this human trafficking kind of situation that you saw. What happened to Browns, excuse my ignorance, after it was raided?
I don't know. I just see that one article in the paper because I just thought, I'd have a look around and see if there was anything relating to it all after John brought it up and I'd spoken to Daniela. And then obviously I was going around just saving clippings because it helped me in my mind piece everything together first because I needed to know what's going on here. I'm getting stories left, right and centre. Got Ben Fellows, telling me stuff about the manager and it was coming from all directions. So I think I've handled it pretty well, actually.
You have, yeah.
I've got quite a good fix on what I think is the full picture as well now. With what Tom Watkins has done. I doubt I'm ever going to be able to properly come out with that for the sake of not myself, for someone else again. But that's what's right. It's not down to me to make that call. I've got Watkins anyway. I've got you anyway, mate. You give me gear at 17. If we just want to go there, let's go there in this silly political correct world now. You gave me cocaine at 17 years of age. Jimmy Savile's your mate. Jonathan King's your mate. And Andrew Ash, David from Panorama is naming you as well. I think that's more than enough, Tom. I think that's more than enough to get you in a room and start asking you some proper questions.
Oh, I'm just remembering that there was a guy helping me with my website. Well, he did a website for me. It was very nice, but went absolutely crazy because he said, "Well, you didn't challenge Brian when he said those things," and he just.
So he's a mate of Tom's.
Probably yes, because there was a lot of hate went down towards me, and then there was all the trolling that went on. So
don't worry
he
about
trashed my website. So that was my punishment for not. But when someone comes on the show, that is your experience. I'm not going to say, oh, you didn't have it.
Yeah.
Because that's up to him to come along and, state the opposite if he believes that wasn't so. To me,
why would I lie? Why would I lie, Chris? You know what I mean? Why would I lie? I'm not trying to sell anyone anything. I ain't got a book coming out. I'm not making a big comeback record. I've got nothing to sell you. I just don't want my only thing on this earth as this person that's taken this kicking to just be remembered for, he took some pills and we only took on everyone else's side of him. I'm setting a record straight. People are going to get to know me.
I don't think people pay much attention to that News of the World shit. They even sort of tried to drag down Sarah Ferguson. They know that the News of the World was evil. They know that they try and whack their asses on people. They know that that's what they're like. So I don't think in the public's mind you are thought of that way. I think they just remember, your voice, your singing, and that's what they remember. They know the News of the World is shit.
Yeah, but I can't feel good about any of that. I can't feel good about any of it, and I'm just left in this wonky situation of, I don't know how my life is supposed to be now. It's not. I know I don't want all the fame. I know I don't want that. I'm not looking for any of that. I suppose now my mindset is, look, whether people want to believe it or not, I believe in God, and I believe once you become awake and you're not in the place of where you don't know what you're doing of, like when you're a kid, you know what I mean? Once you're fully awake and something's wrong, I can't go through my life and not do anything about it. I don't know what's happening to me, Chris. I don't know. So I have got a heart, and I do care, and I would like to see people in this country that are the underdogs and the people that have got nothing have something. I'd like to see them all have something, because no one deserves to go through their life being unloved, not cared for, being treated like shit, never having a chance to do anything, and having to sit back their entire lives watching everyone else looking like they're having fun. They're actually not having fun. They've all sold themselves off and compromised themselves in some sort of way. So believe me, people with no money, these people are not having fun. The people that actually are winning are the people that make do with what they've got. And these are the people that deserve to have. You know, not these politicians that sit there in that building lying to us, drinking all day, colluding with the police and the newspapers to put out their agenda, what they want. You know,
all the smug middle classes with their mansions and their
it's wrong.
Rules and regulations.
We already know what people like George Osborne think of the likes of us. I've asked someone that knows stuff about him, but he don't really think like that, does he? Oh, no, he does. He thinks we're the scum of the earth and we're nothing. Is that what you think, George? Yeah? Because I'm going to show you a thing or two, mate, soon. George Osborne. Don't know who you think you are.
So what do you think? Like what do you think you're going to do for the future?
I don't know. I'm not making any plans because I could get killed tomorrow. But no one gives a fuck anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I'm now going to be the biggest pain in all of these people's asses to teach them. Show them what it's like on the other side of the fence when you're getting caned for once and you can't win and you can't defend yourself. That's my mission in life now. I've come to terms with, you're not making no more records, you're not going on radio no more. Don't want to be on their radio stations anyway. It's all run by paedophiles. So why would I want to be there anyway?
Apart from this one?
Apart from this one. I'm talking about mainstream. I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
BBC. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, BBC. Because let's face it, if you don't get Radio 1, don't get A-list Radio 1, you're not having that big record that everyone thinks you're having. You know, you're going around doing all the little B stations up and down the country, all the little sister stations and that, and you're not going to do it off of that. So it's a decision. Do we turn the machine on for this person or do we turn it off? And for me, they turned my machine off a long time ago. I've been flatlining for years. But I'm still here hanging on life support.
Yeah, that's their whole corrupt little satanic little monarch top fucking thing. Excuse my swearing. I mean, a lot of your songs, as you were saying on Twitter there, I mean, I noticed that one, There's No Place Like Home. And
I wrote that. I wrote. Well, Tony wrote the verses. I wrote we come back from America and a guy who was on the road there, who was the road manager. He showed me how to play John Lennon Imagine while we was on the road. And when I got back, I said to Tom, I want to go in the studio. You know what I mean? Let someone else have a go. You know what I mean? I want to go in. So I went in, and obviously I had a little change about with them chords and that, and just started singing this hook. But I've not been programmed, Christine. I'm telling you, I've been in that world, and I've not seen any of that. I think I was left to just be me. Because I think they must have decided early on, we can never bring this guy in fully, he'll blab. You know, so it was just catered to his ego. We're using him to sing the songs. Everyone's getting paid. Don't worry about it. That's what I think. And
so you wrote that whole song, or just a bit of it?
Tony wrote the verses. Because I remember being pissed off about it. Because I thought I got the royalty thing through, and it was like, hang on, why is he composer number one on it? This song came from me. He wrote the verses, yeah. And but I don't, like I say, I don't care, man. I'm not.
What was the verse?
What's that?
What was the verse? What was the verse?
The verse was seen the seas seven, sailed across them all, seen the moon rise over Paris, watched her gently fall, and then he goes into some rap that, yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean? I came up with a chorus. I came up with a hook, man. And then
did you?
my point being is that the song got completely taken over, and I had no control over what they put in the video. And I see what you're saying, though. Now it's just another part of the symbolism that you've picked up on in around the world. The no place like home, yellow brick road, and the red shoes.
Yeah, because I had I was a monarch. I grew up in a Jesuit orphanage, and they did that monarch stuff to me. I believe it was only after I wrote my second book, In for the Kill, someone approached me and said, "Did you know you're a mind-controlled slave?" And of course,
so what's the process? What's the process, Christine? Like, how does something like this start happening to you? How does it come about? And did you know it's going on when it's happening, or what? You know, how does something like this come about and happen?
Well, they get hold of you when you're a child. They have to get you as a child. I mean, because I grew up in an orphanage, they had constant control. Then I went to an adoptive family that was linked to the Vatican. My aunt was a nun, and I used to go to the convent all the time. And basically, what they do, they get hold of a child, they sexually abuse the child, they use different methods of torture, and they split the child so the child has like separate alters but separate parts, and it's not like multiple personality, it's just parts of the self are made into like aspects, and then they take one or two of them and then they hypnotize those parts. And so what will happen?
They're blocking out certain parts of you, blocking out certain feelings and emotions, or
they do. They can take your sexuality, for instance, and like sometimes, say for someone like Daniela, if it was done to her, she would have that part of her triggered when, you know, she was on TV, or if she was set against someone like you to kind of, you know, bring you somewhere or do something, she would kind of be triggered to do that, like, you know, in some kind. And they use different triggers, and they use handlers to trigger the slaves to do different things. There's the sex slave slaves, most of them are singers and actresses. And
is this more in America, or is this more, I mean, are we seeing this, are you seeing this going on right now here in the UK with are you seeing it going on right now? Is there anyone,
of course.
Obviously you can't name names, but is there people that this is happening to right now in front of our eyes?
Yeah, right now in front of our eyes, and the UK are in on it too. It's mainly started by the Vatican. I mean, I was investigating, you know, what happened to me, and that was back, you know, in my kids' home that was Jesuit run. But all these people.
So you was in Rome?
No. The Crusade of Rescue is in London. It's an orphanage in London. It's still operational. They've changed their name now to the Catholic Children's Society, but and it's linked with the intelligence services. I mean, I went to work for these ex-MI6 agencies, and then I found myself in the News of the World, you know, and doing what I was doing, and basically, you know, using my sexuality. I use my sexuality to have a relationship with Greg, as you know, and I use my sexuality with John Boyle. I brought John Boyle and Greg Miskey together. I never would have done that if I wasn't having a sexual relationship with both of them. I didn't feel attracted to them. They were a lot older than me. You've seen Greg, you know. Why was I doing that? But I can't have a sexual relationship with normal men. I don't own my sexuality. But when, you know, I'm operational, it's triggered. So because I was having a sexual relationship with both these men, I brought them together. I started phone hacking. Now, I ask you, that's quite an important thing to have done, even if nobody believes that I was a monarch. They just, you know, think I was a slag or something.
Well, it's easy to knock someone once they start talking about things that are just a little bit outside the box. You know, and that's what they jump on first. But you know,
but it should have been in Nick Davis's book about the phone hacking, but he completely left out completely left out the fact that even Boyle had trained another man called Andy Gadd. Andy Gadd hacked for Ian Edmondson. Now that was between that was going up to 2011. He was still hacking for Ian Edmondson. What about all those victims? So there was John Boyle.
Ian Edmondson paid me for the story that went in the Sunday People when I got the machete attack. So that was in 2001. Would this Andy Gadd been around Edmondson in 2001?
I don't know. He might have been. What happened, Boyle?
Because it'll be another private investigator that would have been doing me, who I need to look at.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He would have.
Andy Gadd, yeah?
Andy Gadd. What happened? Boyle had his two little office boys. Pardon?
I said, he ain't nothing to do with Paul Gadd, is he?
No. And he set them, he basically, when they found out, John's earning the money, then, of course, Mulcair, got seduced by Greg and went off. But Gadd got seduced. It might have been Ian Edmondson at the People, but he got seduced. And then they both left Boyle. But they'd already learned Boyle's tricks. So they basically went off running around Fleet Street with them. I think Andy Gadd went to work for the Sunday Mirror. That's why everyone looks for, Mulcair. They leave out John Boyle and they leave out Andy Gadd.
So there's a reason for that.
Shit. Pardon?
There has to be a reason for that.
Boyle. Remember I told you that Sylvia Jones from Panorama, she's a top-notch woman, okay? She said to me, Christine, I want to expose Boyle. And she set off to do a documentary about him. It took a couple of years. She came back to me. I said, where's your documentary? She goes, nope, it got stopped. I said, why? I said, MI6, because he works for those. She goes, no, top cops have used him. He's linked with top cops. He's very, very well connected. Nobody will touch him. And this is all linked with the music industry. I said to you, he had a band that he managed.
Yeah, which makes a complete circle of all of the different areas of this that I keep saying they all know each other. I mean, you've just finished the circle.
Yeah, and not to mention that he took me to these weird skin 2 parties, which were, again, the type of all lights dimmed and walk around with masks on and that type of thing. Sorry to expose you, John, for that. And I know your wife, Anne, won't like it, but, it's about time everything came out,
She must know what he's like.
I don't think she does, but...
No? Oh, well, a big shot coming there, then.
I know. Well, she's probably in it for the bloody money. I mean...
Listen, they're all happy to go around exposing everyone else, but as soon as it's them in the firing line, everyone's got to shut up. No.
I know.
Don't work like that.
I know. There's so much more to this. Like, Brian, it's the rabbit hole and it goes down. And actually, you come to it and you realise that actually you were saying, I want to find out who I'm targeted by. It's actually just pure, unadulterated evil,
Yeah. No, there's some strange people about and they are definitely wasting their life experience being on that side of the fence. Like I said.
Well, yeah, you could have gone on, couldn't you? And there you'd be in your mansion, even more records behind you, and you wouldn't know any of this. You're actually in a better position.
I'd probably be an absolute wanker as well.
I know.
Wouldn't care about anyone else because I'm right. It's not my problem.
Exactly.
No, I'm glad what's happened has happened to me in the funniest of ways because it's brought me to the understanding of who I am now, and I understand people, and I understand the seriousness of life, and it's definitely not a joke.
Yeah.
And I as sure as we're here now, I believe that there is a God, and he did make all of this because it ain't come from water dripping on a rock. I'm sorry. I don't know how God made God. I ain't got them answers, but I believe it's there. And when I changed my consciousness into, I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon to further myself. I'm not going to do none of these things. I'm going to go the absolute other way. And when I did that, something in me changed, which is why these people are never going to win. When I die and I leave this place, if there is something else, I want to know that I paid attention to the signs while I was there and I did the right thing. Not many people do it, but I'm in it now, and this is me, and this is where I'm at, and I'm not a hard person to work out. I'm quite simple, quite straightforward. Just looking for justice.
Brian, I think they're closing the show.
All right. Well, listen. Let me thank you much for having me on, Christine. And
Thank you for coming on.
don't stop doing what you're doing, because you were talking about giving up the show. Make sure you stay on. Keep doing.
I will then. Thanks very much, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks,
God bless.
Christine.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. God bless. Take care of yourselves, please.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Take a look around, kid. What do you see? Homes being foreclosed, people working 2-3 jobs just to put food on the table and still drowning in debt. Don't get me wrong. This country was founded on great ideals and principles. They've all been ruined at the banks. Open your eyes to banks that are robbing you. You know who my favorite president was? Who? Thomas Jefferson. Because he saw all of this coming and tried to stop it. He fought the banks. JFK too, and they killed him for it. The banking institution is more dangerous than an army, he said. He also said that every generation needs a revolution, Jimmy. The American dream is just that. Just a dream. War is a continuation of politics, only by other means. Politics is a continuation of economics by other means. This is our bank. This is our war. And this is our plan of attack.
Banks have become an essential threat to our democracy. So consider this justice.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the internet. Please help support this station so this battle can continue forward. Revolution Radio! Is your data safe? Do you have the necessary information to assist you in confidently living through just about any survival situation? Is survival and gardening, off-grid living, medical knowledge, or even natural or man-made EMPs on your list of personal concerns? Do you have your documents and your personal information in a safe place in your hands where you know where it is? Well, check out our preloaded EMP-proof thumb drive. Over 3 gigs of survival documents and how-tos, plus the USDA offline food preservation website, and much, much more, including a surprise bonus we just can't tell you about here. With plenty of room left over to store your most important documents. Imagine if a megavirus or a computer failure took out your bank, or all the banks for that matter. Are your banking records safe in your hands? So when they get things fixed and repaired, you can say,